Adventure Army, welcome back to the channel. My name is RiFi Adventures, but you can just call me RiFi. And today we are going to be taking a look at the best Tower of Heck power-ups. So stay till the end of this video to find out why invincibility isn't on the list. So let's get started with the first one. So the first one is low gravity. So low gravity is something where it's kind of like you jump a bit higher, but it's still it makes you a bit slower, and it makes you jump a bit, instead of making you jump a little bit higher, it makes you jump a little bit farther. So it's very cool for some stages. Some stages, yes, some stages, no. But majority of stages, it's great as well. It's only 150, which is really good. Other like majority of power-ups are that price, which is very good. But still, the low gravity came on this list because it's a very good power up for majority of stages. It makes you take a lot less time. And it's really good. As well, for some stages with far jumps, it works very, very well, and that's why it made it on our list. So the next thing is fog. So you're probably like, why fog? Like, are you serious? Fog? So fog gets a really bad rap because it makes everything so foggy. But the thing people don't realize is that it makes it so you can see the lasers better. Whenever someone puts fog on, it always makes sure people see the lasers more clearly, so they don't miss the lasers. In some stages, the lasers will blend in with the wallpaper of the tower, and it will make it so you don't see the lasers properly, or at least that's just for some people. The fog will make it so the lasers stand out from the rest, and it makes it much easier for you to see, even though sometimes it can be a bit annoying, especially on some levels where, like this one I'm playing right now, it makes it a bit harder because there's no lasers. But in majority of stages in TOH, there is tons of lasers. So even though fog isn't always the best and it gets a pretty bad rap, it's actually still one of the best power-ups for that specific reason. Another thing that made it on this list, if we look over here, the negative also is on our list because the negative makes it so the colors are different. So let's say there is some stages on the side here that, like this one I'm playing currently, so it is green, but on some stages with the lasers, sometimes the lasers, or most of the time, the lasers are a different color, such as like a darker, let's say this level right here had some lasers. It would be a darker color of green, so you can see them at least a bit better. So the negative makes it so you can really see those colors stand out. Just like the fog, it makes you see the lasers, but the negative makes it so you can see where they are more better, and you can see different colors. So there is a setting actually to do this, so you don't have to buy negative. That's why usually people don't use the negative effect anymore, because as you can see on some of the stages I play, the lasers are different colors than the blocks because of this one setting that you can turn on in TOH. But still, alright, so some other things that are the best in TOH. So this one, it did make it on the list, even though it does cost Robux. The checkpoints. So the checkpoints are, well, it says in the name, checkpoints. It makes it so once you get to a certain stage, you can save where you are just in case you die. So if you're not familiar with with what TOH is. TOH is a game with no checkpoints where you have to make it to the top of the tower to get points. When you get to the top of the tower, you can press this button and it speeds up the time, and you also get points at the end of the round. You at least get 100 points per round depending on if you're in Pro Towers or Noob Towers. In Noob Towers, you will get 100, and in Pro Towers, you will get 200. So the checkpoints make it on our list because it makes it just a bit easier as well. There's only 2 checkpoints, so it still at least is a bit hard, but at least you get to spawn somewhere not near the end. So now that's all the ones that are the best, but you're probably like, wait, what about invincibility? Invincibility makes it so much easier. So just because it makes it easier doesn't mean it's the best. In fact, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of the game. The purpose of TOH is to give people a challenge. It is to make sure people have a little challenge when they climb up the tower, so then they don't. So when they touch lasers, they automatically have to die if they touch them. But with invincibility, it makes it so even if you touch the lasers, you won't die. And majority of stages in TOH do have lasers. Some don't, but some do. So in the majority of ones that do have the lasers, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of the game itself, because the purpose of the game is to go throughout the whole thing without trying not to die. Even though the checkpoints did get on our list, there's only 2, so it doesn't defeat the full purpose. But invincibility does do that, unless it's a tower with none of the lasers. But sadly, in majority of them, there are at least one stage with lasers, or just a little bit of lasers. But you wouldn't even buy invincibility if there was no lasers. So obviously, invincibility didn't make it on this list for that specific reason. It defeats the whole purpose of the game. Checkpoints does do that a little bit, as I said, but it's just because they don't put the full amount of checkpoints for every single stage. So there is some TOH copies that do support checkpoints, such as Climb Time. Climb Time is probably the only one that's suggested as a TOH copy with checkpoints. But that was probably just getting ready to go to TOH because I don't know. It's just it has checkpoints, so I consider it as easier. But invincibility makes it so it literally defeats the whole purpose of the game. There is not really a purpose of the game anymore if you are if you buy invincibility. Even though it does make it so much easier and so much better for noobs, honestly, it's just not. It doesn't make it on this list. I know a lot of you guys disagree, which is okay. I get why you disagree. It makes it so much easier, and I understand that. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just saying it defeats the whole purpose of the game. I used to think invincibility was amazing, and I always used to use it, but now that I think about it more, it just defeats the whole purpose. As well, I'm going to be doing a part 2 of this, which is which power-ups are the worst in TOH, where I showcase some of the worst powers in TOH. One is including the invincibility, but remember, this is just my preference and what I think. It doesn't have to do anything with you and your preference. This is just personally what I think, and some people may agree, some people may disagree, which is okay. But this is just my preference. As well, I just posted a giveaway video today, so if you would like to go check that out, the link will be in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!